Hi, I'm Craig Johnstone and I work within the aquaculture sector for Bakkafrost Scotland. I'm on the Island of Gigha. I'm a site manager of one of the sites here. So I travel every day from Tarbert and Lochfine. It's usually a 30-40 minute commute each day to get to the island where we meet the staff, and then we get out to complete our daily tasks, which can be challenging with weather and whatnot. But yeah, it could be flat cam, it could be blowing a gale, but we find a way to get there so we can look after the fish and meet our team. I've lived in Tarbert my whole life. I now live there with my wife and 2 kids, one just starting school. I'm also involved in the coaching side of things for the soccer centre. It's quite a small knit community. Everyone knows everyone, so it's quite a nice place to live, and everyone looks after each other. And my whole family have been involved in fish farming throughout that as well. So my dad's been in fish farming for 30 years. My brother, again, he's 10 years involved in fish farming on the wellboats, and me as well. I'm over 10 years now in the industry. So yeah, I first of all went to college not thinking I was going to go to fish farming, and I came back and I decided that I was going to just jump into it because I know how my dad and my brother enjoyed it. So I jumped into it and I started off as a marine operative on the Lochfine. So I was there for a few years, not really knowing what it was going to bring, because I had the thought that maybe it's just like throwing feed in and feeding the fish and just out in all weathers, but there was way more involved in it than I could have imagined. So I managed to get a lot of training through that process, whether it was on the boats or the cranes, and then obviously training with University of Highlands and Islands as well, where I started on my level 3. So that kind of gave us a different element to the role as well, where I would look at the data and the legislation side of things as well. So we get a better in-depth of how fish farms are run and how it works. It's harvest month over in Drum Bay, so we've been very busy over the last month or so, getting the last lot of our fish out for harvest. It's been 3 years leading up to this moment, so every month leading up to it, it's very important to make sure the fish are in peak condition and we get them to this stage where we can get them to harvest. Yeah, hopefully then after the end of it all, we'll all be happy, ready to go again, and we might just have a wee party or celebration that we got it done. Yeah, so we've arrived here today. I've met the team, and we've had a good talk what the plans are today, and what we're going to set out to do. So the plan is environmental checks first thing. So we're going to go do some plankton checks, we're going to do some jellyfish checks and some water quality checks, make sure everything's good to go for the feeding. We'll communicate that to our feed techs and say we're ready to go. So after that, we're going to go out to the site, do our stock containments, make sure our stock containment's good. We're going to make sure everything's tied up, safe, fish are safe within the pens. We're going to do some maintenance maybe on the cameras if they're needing a clean, or any other furniture which is in the pens as well. We'll look after them. And then while we're there, we'll do some health checks where we'll look at the condition of the fish, make sure they're in good peak health, ready to go for the harvest, which is planned for this week. So we've got one today as well, so we'll have the team go out, they'll crowd the fish onto the wellboat, and they'll take the fish to the harvest station. So after that, we'll probably just look at doing some maintenance on site, make sure everything's cleaned, maintained and ready to go for the next day as well. And then either myself or a senior will go put some data into the database. So our fish talk database, where we would put environmental checks in, put our health checks, we would put our feeding in, and just nice live data for the senior management team to make some decisions going forward into the cycle. But thankfully for me, there's only a couple of weeks left, so it's not too bad. So I think what I like most about working in the aquaculture sector is probably my commute every day. Mostly in the summer, because the weather's that good. It can be a lovely commute and you can see some great wildlife and sights. But maybe the winter can be a wee bit more challenging and a wee bit more of a bumpy ride. But once we get here and kind of the fish farming aspect of it all, it's just the day-to-day changes, and every day is completely different. And then obviously we've got the busy periods that come with it as well, so it becomes even more challenging, which for me is great because it keeps you engaged in what you're doing. Every day is totally different. We're just coming to the end of our cycle of fish, so we're harvesting most days, and all our work come to that an end, and then we just look to restart again and refresh, recharge the batteries and go again for our next cycle.